What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Full-time reaction to Celtic 3, Motherwell 2, Martin. A dramatic win in the end, another stressful day. How do you assess that one?
I think the all-important thing was the result today. I said it before the game on the bus. No matter how we won today, we had to win. I think for a multitude of reasons. Hearts got a good result yesterday. It's too early in the season to worry about Hearts or anybody else, but we've been in a bit of a slump. I think for morale, the result was more important than the performance today. The performance wasn't great again today, but we got the result. What a difference that goal at the end makes to the direction that the club's going in. It doesn't make a big difference with regards to the underlying problems, but we desperately needed that. I suppose if you're a neutral watching that game today, it would have been quite exciting. Motherwell showed great character to come back after being behind, but then equally we showed great character. The crowd were really restless when Motherwell went 2-1 up. It was a really horrible situation we found ourselves in, where lots and lots of fans were really unhappy, and you could hear some of the fans starting to sing songs towards the end as well. So it was really important that the team found a way to dig deep, and they did. Great credit to the players that they've turned that around. As I say, it doesn't take away the underlying issues, but just huge relief. What we didn't want to do was to go into an international break having dropped in our couple of points after the poor run we've been on, and I think it was just good to get 2 or 3 goals today, albeit one was a penalty, one was a huge mistake by the keeper. The third one felt like the first goal for a long time. It was scored from open play. And I think lots of small things today. Maeda getting that goal at the end. Oh, how much he needs that goal. Wow. His form's been deplorable. So delighted for him. Delighted for the collective group of players. Brendan needed that. The fans needed that. I know it's really early in the season, and if we're comparing ourselves to Rangers, which we shouldn't be, we should have our own standards. They are miles behind and slipped up again today. But it's not about that. It's about Celtic, building on the progress that we've made in recent years. Some would argue we've not made sufficient progress in recent years, but striving to improve, and clearly we've not done that this year. So the result today was absolutely huge, and I'm just glad we got over the line in the end. And even with 2 minutes to go, we scored that goal, and I'm looking at the clock thinking 2 minutes to go. I wasn't convinced that Motherwell and forward the numbers, knowing they were vulnerable and they could get at us. And I was just, really delighted to hear that final whistle.
Aye, a huge relief at the end. I think from the start of the game you can tell that there's an anxiousness there, it's an anxiety, understandable given the run we've been on, how we've been playing. And I thought we needed a goal to relieve the tension. We get the penalty, Iheanacho puts it away, but I actually don't think it did that. I don't think it did relieve the tension, and Motherwell get back in the game sort of 10 minutes later, and I think we looked really untidy at times. I think in the first half when we were defending, it looked a bit erratic. In the build-up to Motherwell's goal, actually, I think McGregor goes in to a challenge in the box, and I think Scales is there with him. We managed to sort of work it out. It comes into McCowan. He plays a really heavy pass into Ralston, who takes a horrible touch, gives it away. We're exposed. They go on to score the goal. I think the anxiety is clear in the players, but I just think there's really uncharacteristic errors across the pitch, individually and collectively. I think we look all over the place at times.
And I listened to your predicting the team, and everything you said was so true. You go through that team, you start with the keeper and question mark over who the keeper's going to be, and I understand why you questioned that. In my mind, there was no doubt Casper was going to keep his place, but I understand why you were predicting that. Left back, right back, question mark in both those positions. Scales was one of the players who was getting a lot of criticism until recently, and he's probably become third, fourth, fifth name on that team sheet, almost guaranteed. Him and Carter Vickers at the back. The captain, some are questioning whether he should be included. For me, he should be included every single day of the week. His performances dipped partly because of those round about him were underperforming, and he's trying to do 2, 3, 4 jobs. So I think he was a cert. But then you go, in front of him, and interesting to see, the players that were played today. He's just shuffling the pack a little bit, isn't he? He's trying different combinations. So you go into that midfield, and there's only really one player who you would say is guaranteed. And then out wide, again, you're a bit unsure who's going to be out wide. You expect it to be out left, a new lad, and then out right, Maeda, but he's not been playing well. And then up front, I suppose, kind of predict who's going to play up front. But I mean, that's the first time for a long time that there has been so much debate over your starting 11. And I admire you predicting it, because it's such a hard prediction. And that's because there's so many players underperforming. Now, what that does create is it creates a scenario where the players are unfamiliar with each other because we're trying so many different combinations, and all these players bring slightly different qualities. So it's hard to get a bit of continuity, and most good teams who go on a good run and perform at a high level have got a bit of stability and a bit of familiarity in respect to their starting 11. We've not got that right now. We're chopping and changing, whether it be the starting 11 or throughout the game. We're just desperately looking for something different, and we're bringing players on who are not necessarily improving the game or any better. So I think we've still got a lot of that going on. Some of the lads are new and some of them are young as well. Maybe not got the experience of dealing with some of the pressure that they're having to deal with just now. None of that's excuses, it's just a set of circumstances that we find ourselves in. So I'm not terribly surprised, and you add to that the discontent of the fans. You know, you said that the nervousness in the crowd that translates on to the players, whether it be a silent protest or, you know, there was a couple of scenarios today where our final decision was the wrong one and the crowd were just so loud, weren't they, at reacting adversely. So yeah, it's a combination of a wide range of factors that's making it so difficult just now to get a bit of fluency.
Yeah, the manager's coming under a lot of criticism as well, and I think Motherwell are obviously playing out from the back today, and credit to them. I know it really cost them. I think the second goal for us comes from their error, and I thought at times our intensity against the ball wasn't quite what it should have been. We did manage to bend them in. It's a mistake by the goalkeeper. It gives us the momentum in the game. It gives us a way back in. That's probably the thing that turned the tide in the game. But I think across the piece, Motherwell probably played out a wee bit too easy for my liking at times, and that is something that does rest with the manager. He had the first half to see how Motherwell were playing out, and I thought second half, yes, we did get the benefit of that error, but I think we've talked a lot about the lack of creativity from open play going forward in an attacking sense, but there's not even that usual intensity you associate with Brendan Rodgers' teams against the ball either at times.
There's not, and we knew Motherwell were going to play that way because you know that's the way they've been playing this season, and they've been playing different to most teams when they come to Celtic Park, and you know, refreshing to see that. But we should have, as you say, we should have been from the very beginning. We should have been pressing high, and it took us 30 minutes to get the goal, and it was a penalty. And I thought in the second half, prior to us getting the second goal, we had several chances or half chances just before we got the goal, and there were half chances. Then immediately after that one, there was chances again. So it was almost as if eventually the penny dropped, and we started pressing just that little bit higher. And I think the subs helped today. I think the subs did make a difference. Nygren in particular, he performed well today, and I thought the combination of having Nygren and Engels coming on and playing together brought a different dynamic.
Even Balakwisha managed to get an assist well for the winning goal.
He did, and of course he's coming on. You're thinking, oh my goodness, is he going to make a difference? And great for him as well. And it's hard to compliment him in any shape or form because he hasn't given us any reason to do so far. But often these players will struggle in their infancy period, and let's just hope that's the case with him, and he is going to come good.
I think again when Iheanacho come off, some people were thinking you need to leave him on because he did look tired, but he's only out and out striker. You think he's your best chance of a goal, and I thought Dyson Maeda today at times looked a forlorn figure. I mean, out on the right hand side, he just looked disinterested at times. Now he goes on to get the winning goal, and I think Brendan Rodgers will feel vindicated. You can look at that as a stroke of luck or a stroke of genius, keeping him on and putting him through the middle because he gets the winning goal. But a really strange performance. His head doesn't look in the right place. That one where Motherwell have just scored the second goal and he's given the ball on the right hand side, and he just hooks a pass with his left foot straight at the pitch. I don't even know what he was trying to do with it. He just looked all over the place, and it was a shame to see that, and the pressure from the crowd on him. He's been such a brilliant player for us, but who knows where his head is at. He does go on to get the winning goal. You've got to hope that can galvanise his energy, because he's been a player who throughout his time with us has given absolutely everything. He's looked so committed. He ends up getting the man of the match today, but I don't think for the first 60-70 minutes of that game he looks like a player that's committed, and he looks like his usual self. So I mean, something has to give there, and it feels a little bit like, he's not a child, he's an adult, right? But the child that goes in the huff, with their parents, and at some point they come out that huff. And it just feels like that's the place he's in right now. I mean, is that going to last until the next transfer window? He's going to continue to underperform and not give 100% effort? I would hope not. I would hope that, his rage, his discontent. I would also hope that the club have given him some assurances, although apparently they gave assurances before and the deal was nearly done. But I'm hoping he'll come to terms with the rationale behind, why the outcome was the outcome it was, and there'll be some adult discussions between the club and the player and the agent to say, right, we'll do our best endeavours to find some common ground. I hate to think that a professional player with him, the ability he's got, is going to continue to underperform for a prolonged period of time, albeit it feels like a long time already. It's not as if he's the worst performer on the pitch. I think the problem with Maeda is his standards are so high. You would expect him just to be buzzing about, and he hasn't reached those standards. It makes it so obvious, the drop off. It does make it obvious. And do you know, Paul, I was watching him in the last game,
can't remember who we played in that. It was a European game during the week, and he went off, and Rodgers kind of acknowledged him as he went off, and I thought the manager's got a really tough decision to make, because I thought he was really poor during the week, and I thought, what do you do? Do you bench him? Do you not play him? And one of the challenges for Brendan and the club is we've not really got replacements, so we're going to have to find a way of motivating the player, and the player's going to have to find a way of accepting the circumstances for what they are, accepting that he's still getting very well paid. He's at a huge club. He's playing in some big matches. He's playing European football, and he's got a lot to enjoy. And between now and whenever it is that he departs the club, and I'm hoping that time will come. And I think that goal might make a big difference today.
Aye, let's hope so. There will be a sense, Martin, that today might paper over the cracks a little bit with the level of performance again. Or do you see it as something that can hopefully let us have a reset because that's been a poor month there, poor performance level, let us reset to come back after the international break, because we'll get big games away to Dundee, back in Europe against Sturm Graz, and then we go to Tynecastle, so big games coming up. And we got the result today, but there's no doubt the performance level needs to be a lot better. I
think for me it's take it right back to basics, right? Goals get you results make you happy. I mean, if we'd come away from that game with a draw today, we would have been absolutely gutted. We'd have went home, woke up tomorrow, reflected on the game, been gutted. You wake up tomorrow a wee spring in your step because we won. So results change moods. There's absolutely no doubt that there's discontent. There's absolutely no doubt that the board have got some decisions to make with regards to the short-term and long-term strategy. I know there's a meeting going ahead tomorrow. I can't even forecast what the outcome of that meeting will be. I know that the fans that are representing have got an agenda. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. But ultimately, the bottom line is, if Celtic can win games by scoring goals, which we've not been doing, we can get a lead in the league, we can perform better in Europe, then that changes the mood of the fans, and the whole landscape changes. And of course, the next window there'll be a huge spotlight on the board to invest much better in the playing squad than they have up until now. But I think that goal, what a difference that makes. And then I think we just need to. We're going to the European game against Sturm Graz, huge game. Dundee away, I think's next, and then an absolutely massive game against Hearts at Tynecastle. So if you manage to come through those next 2 or 3 games with victories, full points in the league and a victory at home in Europe, all of a sudden the mood changes. I'll tell you what sums up beautifully was some of the fans singing sat the board into injury time. We've got a chance of still winning the game, and the players need the support. Now, it's not for me to judge those fans. Those fans are entitled to their opinion. They can sing what they want to the game. But I'm sitting there thinking, give it 5 minutes, lads, and then sing sat the board if you so chose at the final whistle. And then we score, and then we're singing songs in support of the team. Not in support of the board, clearly, but in support of the team. And that was just a prime example today how goals and victories change the mood of the fans, and the whole landscape changes.
Yeah, those next 2 or 3 games are absolutely huge. That's it for today. Like the video, give us your own thoughts on the game below. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you during the international break. Thank you.